Vladimir Putin declared war on Ukraine and gave a chilling warning to its allies in the West with an address this morning to anyone who would consider interfering from the outside. If you do, you will face consequences greater than any of you have faced in history. All right. I don't know what that means.
I think I do.
Means he's going to fire nukes.
Yep.
Other than that,
I have deep thoughts.
How deep?
Too deep.
we're all ready for it, by the
Because
way.
I'm in over my head.
Yeah, I, for the life of me, I don't understand why he thinks he can go into Ukraine and take over. I don't understand.
First of all, let's not play the game that, well, this might not happen if Trump was president.
Let's not go there.
This is Putin's fault. No, it isn't. Putin is not, I'm sorry, Biden's not the one firing the missiles. This probably was going to happen no matter who was president. But I think something can be gleaned from China and Russia apparently are no longer even remotely afraid of the United States. That would be my suspicion.
I think that's an accurate
They're
statement.
just not afraid of the United States. And they both want to be the number one world power. Whether they do it independent of each other and wipe one of the other out, I have no idea if they'll bind together and do it. But they clearly don't regard us as a threat. And
we'll continue to call our bluffs for.
we have elected a political class. And again, this is not a rip on Biden. Biden's not firing any rockets. And the political class we've elected certainly precedes him. But we're worried about what the temperature's supposed to be 100 years from now.
Green New Deal.
We're worried about who gets to use which bathroom in a school. We're worried about making sure every kid understands that Abraham Lincoln was a racist. Let's take down his statue. Well, that cost the school board members in San Francisco their job. In other words, it might be very easy for Z and Putin to look at us and just become terribly amused at how unserious we are. Now, listen to this. President Biden's climate czar, John Kerry, warned yesterday that Russia's war against Ukraine is going to distract the world from the climate change crisis.
Dear God.
Oh, my God.
You are kidding me.
No, this is Fox News reports this by Jessica Chasmar. And produce massive emissions that will negatively impact the globe.
Holy balls.
Never mind people that are dying.
Oh, my God. I cannot believe he said this.
Well, this is resting my case, I think. I'm concerned about Ukraine because of the people in Ukraine and because of the principles that are at risk in terms of international law and trying to change boundaries of international law by force. Kerry, the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, said in an interview on BBC Arabic, I thought we lived in a world where we had that had said no to that kind of activity, and I hope diplomacy will win. Well, it isn't winning. Right. But massive emissions are consequences of war, and equally importantly, you're going to lose people's focus. You're going to lose, certainly, big country attention because it will be diverted, and I think that could have a damaging impact, meaning on the fight against the climate. So, I think hopefully President Putin would realize that in the northern part of his country, they used to live in 66% of the nation that was over frozen land. I got news for you, John. This is exactly the kind of thing Putin is not going to be worried about.
Or China.
Yeah.
Now that land is thawing and his infrastructure is at risk and the people of Russia are at risk. And so I hope Putin will help us stay on track with respect with what we need to do for the climate.
Oh, God.
Okay, I can't. That is so
Tone deaf?
tone deaf that it reveals a great deal about what he thinks
Is important.
the American people can rally behind.
May I ask a question? Mm-hmm. When was that statement issued?
Wednesday. Yesterday.
Oh, my God. I'm thinking, okay, did it happen 6 months ago?
No. Kerry, who has faced criticism for his own impact on climate change, made similar comments on Sunday when he told G0 Media's Ian Bremmer that a Russian invasion of Ukraine will have a monumental impact on the ability and willingness of people to do what's necessary to curb emissions, and it will be very rough for the climate agenda.
Laughable.
You know, so we had 8 storms last year, which cost America well more than $1 billion per storm. It's far cheaper to recognize what's coming and cure the problem ahead of time.
We've been fiddling while Rome is getting ready to explode.
Yeah, we're global. We're clowns. We're the clowns of the globe.
And again, you have to square this with the fact that Biden's not the one pulling the trigger. This is Putin's fault. But now what scholars will have to divine is Putin doing this because he just doesn't take us seriously? Because we have high-ranking government officials who are worried about the effect of war on the climate? I got news for you, Kerry. Putin doesn't give a bleep about your climate change.
It's not his sole reason, but yeah, that is certainly there. Absolutely. It's
And we're
part of
worried
it.
about which kids get to use which bathrooms. And we're worried about tearing down statues. We're worried about Mr. Potato Head should be non-binary. You think the Chinese and the Russians give a bleep about that?
No.
Right. Right.
Now, I have nowhere to go with this. I don't know how we repair
Nor does anyone, to be honest.
our image as the strong country of the world, the most important country of the world, which is, and we have a country full of people, particularly in the failed academy, who would disabuse us of the idea that we should be the strongest country in the world.
Too
They
masculine?
find fault with that.
Yeah.
So we have been crumbling and crumbling and crumbling. It's almost as though we only have a skeletal framework left to respond to this act of intrusion by Putin. And I don't have the answer. I do not have the answer.
Those same type of people are the people that also allowed Hitler to run wild and free after he invaded Poland. They wanted to stay out of it until we were dragged into it. And that's what's going to happen in this case.
I had a frightening thought this morning watching the news coverage of this. What would you guys put a percentage on? Because I have a number in my head of the adults in this country, 18 plus, that even care about what's going on right now.
Well, I was going to extend that thought and say another problem we face as a result of years and years and years of the academy being failed is I would bet there's a great percentage of Americans who couldn't find Ukraine on a map. I bet there's a great percentage of Americans who don't know what this is about.
It's on the western border of Russia.
Ukraine is the second largest country in Europe after Russia. And it was I have made the mistake thinking that it was an independent country of its own called Ukraine. It was part of the Soviet Socialist Republic from the 19-teens. And when Russia began its dissolving in 90 and 91, it declared its independence and won that independence in a plebiscite vote and has been independent ever since. And now you have the likes of Putin, who wants to take over the world. He can't afford to let the second largest country in Europe become westernized.